Meeting back to order. Get back to the old business. Well, we need to I have a question of procedure here. Since it's a recess meeting, do we do minutes from one meeting or two?
I think you do from each.
For each.
Each meeting? Okay. All right, so we do have minutes from the last meeting. I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to take a look at them, but I'm gonna take for granted that they're done correctly. If anybody finds anything after the fact, please let us know.
I just want to have one addition, just put me down as small people present.
Oh,
He
I'm
wants to
sorry.
get paid too.
I'm sorry. I'll fix that. Sorry about that.
We do have a quorum, and once again, let's be reminded, we are here to protect the health, safety, and well-being of the citizens of Scotland County. Getting back to old business, the rezoning application for the sand pit. What do you folks have, any extra to tell us? And Donnie, can you bring us up to date on what's been done since we met last time?
For the mine,
Yes,
they have supplied us with the DOT permit that's needed.
okay, which, if anybody wants to look at it, there it is right there.
And also, we have the application for the state, which we can't get the permit for the state until after the zoning is completed. And we give them a letter, then he'll bring back the permit from the state, and that's when it'll be completed for them to proceed.
Okay.
I don't know if anything else we needed besides that DOT permit.
All right, one thing I do want to point out in the mining permit, if I can find it, there is a comment in here about buffers.
Excuse me, Mr. Jim. We didn't approve the minutes.
Pardon me?
We didn't
Oh,
approve
excuse me,
the
yeah. Everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Yeah.
We have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's passed, minutes approved. Sorry about that, keep me straight. See if I can find that note that I had. In the mining permit, I've got it marked. It says something about a 25-foot berm in there, but I do want to just mention for everybody that our new ordinances have a minimum 50-foot berm around all sides. This is
A berm or a buffer?
buffer, excuse me, thank you, buffer.
That's a lot better.
Yeah, it is. This is under section 5 of the mining permit, page 8. It says a 25-foot buffer is proposed on 3 sides of the property. At the frontage on Harris Road, a 50-foot buffer is proposed. The local ordinances do say 50 feet per property edge. And that was part of what we changed from the 300 feet, which would not allow you to mine there at all. So,
It doesn't have to be a berm, it could be natural vegetation.
yeah, but it is a 50-foot buffer and not 25. So unfortunately, Scotland County has exceeded what the state mining permit has asked for. Now, the point in question that was brought up when we had our last meeting was driveway location, which that, Mr. Harrington brought that up as a concern for noise. There was also another item that was brought up, said that you are looking at trying to buy those other 2 pieces of
I
property.
am
How successful do you think you're going to be?
pretty successful. Yep. We're going at it wide open,
How quickly?
pretty quick. I'm hoping within the year. Depending on how quick the county moves.
If you get that, assuming that we give you approval all the way through, including a driveway, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Would you be going back through Lee Howe's property once you got all the property?
I'd be going out on 501.
Be going back out on 501.
But can I say something?
Point of order, is it anytime?
If he's answering your questions.
Okay, that pit was opened in 1941. The state opened that pit. For 40 years, they come out on Harris Road. For 40 years. They didn't have that other road, they come out on Harris Road.
How recent was that?
In the 60s, they stopped in the maybe 70s, somewhere around there. Anyway, they come out on Harris Road. I have two right-of-ways, not one right-of-way, but I already have two right-of-ways that comes out on Harris Road.
Okay.
And I refuse to use them. But, and all the times I've been there, and Frank's been there, Frank's been there longer than I, we've never had a complaint from the neighbors on what we was doing. Matter of fact, we help the neighbors. We even give the neighbors free dirt. When they want free dirt, we help them. I do cleared land for the neighbors for free. So we always help our surroundings. We do anything we can for our neighbors. And McMillan's, you know, just a bunch of folks right in there. You know, we've always had a good relationship. We take maybe 3 or 4 loads a day out there on an average. You know, we try to be good neighbors. We try not to run at night. We don't run at night. We don't run on the weekends. We just try to run during the day. And most time people don't even know we're there.
What's your average operating hours starting in?
75. But, you know, like I said, I mean, unless it's a special event or something, I mean, a lot of times we don't even go in there for weeks at a time. I mean, you don't even see us for weeks at a time, because a lot of times when we do jobs, we got so much dirt off of that job that we just take it and use it. We don't even go to the pit. So, you know, people, I mean, we've had no complaints so far, and it'll be the same way. We won't have no complaints because, you know, we respect them.
Estimated maximum number of trucks a day that you ever run out of there?
Well, 2 trucks, maybe 3 trucks.
Okay.
We done school at Wagram, we was running, you know, we run 20 trucks a day out, you know, when we done school at Wagram, but that was one time in 15 years, I mean, you know. So, you know, it's not like, you know, when you say mining pit and sand pit, it's kind of like a dirty word, you know, because you know, you get in your mind, there's gonna be all this stuff happening, and there's gonna be all this noise, and everything's happening, and you ain't gonna get no sleep at night, but that's not the case, guys. That ain't the case. You know, we just a small operation, going there and digging some dirt out and hauling it out. People don't even know we're there. And same with this pit. They don't even know we're there. Now, if it wasn't for the laws changing, we wouldn't even worry about a permit. Because we don't usually dig over an acre. You know, we just go in there and dig, but you know, with the laws changing and everything, they make us get a permit now. So that's what we got to do. And we're just trying to do things the legal way, the right way. And we want people around us to know what's going on. And I'll tell you something else. Everybody in the community, our kids come down and ride their dirt bikes and 4-wheelers in the pit. We don't never have a problem with that. You know, like I say, we're there for the community. And, you know, we've never had a complaint, ever had a complaint out of anybody. And we won't. We'll never have a complaint. If we're doing something the neighbors don't like, we'll stop. All they gotta say, hey, you know, we don't like that. So if they do, we'll stop. So, you know.
Glad to hear you say you're helping with Millens. Some of us need a little more help than others.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I've been up there 38 years. I hadn't seen it. Same place, 25501 Harris Road, right in front of the church. My question's still gonna be, where's the road gonna be? Because we don't know how the road's gonna be, the noise gonna be. I know everything has to be all the I's dotted and T's crossed, but it's a concern for me because I have my family that I'm retired and I don't feel like watching trucks every day if I'm sitting outside. I don't know what's going on. I've never seen, my kids never played down there. We've been there 38 years. My kids almost 50.
You live in the white double wide?
No, I stay right across from the church.
In the white double wide?
No, in a gray double wide.
Bubba Farmer was living there 2 years ago.
Well, you can go down there to the place over there and show you. I can show you my deed. I've been there 38 years.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's living where there.
Right.
That's for us to take a look at the driveway.
Right.
And all that. That property is 400 feet wide across the front.
Well, we don't want to go out on Harris Road. We don't
I
want to go
understand
on
that.
Harris Road. We want to go out on,
What's the opportunity, what's the, possibility of moving the driveway, which is on the north side, down to the south side, the other corner?
if that's what he wants, that's what we'll do.
So that would be.
I want to accommodate my neighbors.
Mhm.
So if he wants it as far away from him as he can get it, then that's what we do.
Okay, that's just a question for
Yeah.
clarification.
I don't want to be no hindrance to
And I know
anybody.
you're concerned about just the
Right,
traffic.
that's the residential area where we live. Oh, where he's talking about on 15501, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I wouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't trying to stop nobody from working, but if I got a concern, I'm gonna tell you about it. You know, then we'll see what happens.
Well, sir, that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
It's 501. That's what we want. But
But
unfortunately,
everything they showed me was Harris Road.
yeah. Well, if we do come out on Harris Road, it'd be down the road from you,
Well,
sir,
where?
at the end of the property line. Just as far down Harris Road away from you as we can get.
Wait, I thought the Newtons on part of the.
We're gonna be right next to the new. We'll come out right next to the.
So you're gonna be beside the church?
No, the other side,
The other side.
the other side. Yeah, toward Turnpike. We'll be toward Turnpike.
Yeah, what my question was, if we look at the plan that's submitted,
Mhm.
it's closer to you.
Yeah.
My question to Mr. Frizell was if they can move it the other way, which is an additional 400 feet
Mhm.
away from your property.
Yes,
And in the event that Mr. Frizell can purchase those two pieces of property, you'll never hear it again.
That's
Because they'll be
exactly
going
right.
back out on 501.
That's exactly right. Because that's the way we want to go. We want to go out on 501. So the minute I do purchase that other piece of property, that road's gonna be closed off. We probably grow trees on it or something. I mean, because it's too inconvenient for us to come out on Harris Road. I mean, that's the reason we don't come out on Harris Road now. It's just too inconvenient.
And I think one other question that we had, and this was for the right of way through Lee House property.
Uh-huh.
Is that right of way grandfathered in and can it ever be closed off since it's been used that long?
Excuse me, Mr. Edge came and spoke with me and Brooke on Friday. Yeah. If they purchased those two properties beside the pit, he said their intention is not to open it up all the way to the old pit. It's just to expand this one we're speaking of. And that driveway would come through the old pit, and they can't cross those property lines if they don't open it all the way up to the old pit. He said that they were just going to expand this one, they would do with those two properties, not into the existing pit. So that driveway off 501 is coming in through the existing pit.
The whole reason we went through the permitting process for the driveway was because the zoning required us, because of the separation we have between the existing pit and the proposed pit. We had to have access by the zoning regulations to that facility. So once Mr. Frizell gets his operation up and running and gets those other two parcels of land acquired, which should be in the too distant future, the plan is to run a driveway along the edge of the existing, across those two new properties, and incorporate that into the new deed, or to the existing deed there with the new property, and run it across and give it out on 501.
Will that be close to the Howell line?
Yeah,
Yeah, we-
parallel,
It will be.
the Howell line in the two parcels there.
Like I say, another thing is, all of our equipment is new. They're quiet. I mean, it ain't much more than you hear in a lawnmower. I mean, they're just quiet, with the newer stuff. And the buffer, with the tree buffer and the bushes and everything. I mean, like I said, we've never had a complaint. Never had a complaint. And I've been there for 15 years. Frank's been there for 20 years. Joe Martin's been there for 20 years. And, as far as I know, have you ever had a complaint? We've never had a complaint. We've always tried to service the community and help the community. And we'll continue to do that.
So,
I get to understand exactly where this road gonna be if it's not gonna be on Harris Road. So that's my concern. I knew about them with that business a long time ago. But as long as it's on 15501, I don't have an issue with it. But I would like to know if it's on Harris Road. Where exactly it's
there are
gonna
currently, until the two in-between properties can be purchased, if they can be purchased, the new lot, the new mine, it would have to come out on Harris Road. Because they won't be able to cross over the other two properties. They won't own. If the other two properties can be purchased, they will not use Harris Road. They'll go across those two properties and use the original driveway out to 501.
Now, where exactly would it be if they have to use Harris Road?
About 4 properties down from yours.
Which way?
About 400 feet a year, somewhere along here.
That's where it should.
Okay, so here's the church. So you're over here,
I'm right in front of the church, almost here.
and so see, here's Harris Road.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're on this side of the road?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on the same side of the road. Okay, so this is.
No, I'm on the opposite side.
You're the opposite side, okay.
Okay, so here's what the driveway proposed, he comes down.
Yeah, down here, way down here.
And then once he acquires.
See, you're up here.
Once he acquires these other properties.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that.
Yeah. See, that's the two properties that I'm gonna buy right here. And see, when I do that, the road can come out here, right there. But even still, you're up here, and this is way down here. This whole thing. So you probably won't never hear us down there.
Now, this is, which way? Is it out to, Turnpike?
Yeah, toward Turnpike.
Turnpike's down
Yeah,
here.
Turnpike. That's right, toward
That's
Turnpike.
right.
Okay,
Well,
but I'm confused. I thought, the Newtons own their property, those pines.
No, they're on down there just about at the stop sign, is where the news are at.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So y'all gonna go past the house that has the pallets and all that stuff? The road is gonna be.
Yeah, we're gonna be on the other side of the brick house with pallets, that's right. The other side, toward Turnpike Road. And then when we come out, about 99% everything we haul goes to Longford, or comes to Longford, I'm sorry. And, so when we come out, 99% of everything's gonna turn to the right, away from you.
Mhm.
So, and it would come down and get on 501. But again, that's so inconvenient for us because we have to come out and then go down and go back around to 501. It's in our best interest to pay whatever we gotta pay for this other property to come out of 501. So, so I'm 99.9% sure that's gonna happen.
Well, what about the pavement? I mean, those trucks are heavy. And if you continue to turn, it's gonna mess up. And I'm looking at the fact, people still have to drive.
We're not gonna have enough
Nobody's
traffic.
gonna be paying for somebody alignment or balance or nothing.
There's not gonna be that much traffic.
that's not anything we really have to consider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here at this meeting.
Yeah.
If that's a concern, then that would be something that you may want to bring up with the State Department
Okay.
if we approve it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can't deal with that here. But Donnie's brought up a question, and I guess for the ordinances, we need to clarify this. I don't know how to interpret that ordinance. Mr. Ed, you say you are not going to recombine those 4 properties if all 4 of them are bought.
No,
Because if you do that, 3 properties are together, I think the ordinance technically says there has to be a buffer.
Yeah.
And you said you're not gonna cross the buffer, which if you don't cross the buffer, that means you can't go through the existing mine back up to 501.
with the driveway we can.
Mr. Ed said you're not gonna cross the buffer. You mean you're not gonna cross the buffer for
As far as
mining,
digging, not gonna cross the buffer as far as digging.
but who's gonna own the property?
I ain't,
Okay, you're gonna own all 3
Yeah.
lots.
Yeah.
You own the current mine.
no, I do.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay, so either way about it is, you're
I'll
gonna
never-
have a right of way.
Yeah.
There will be permission given from somebody.
Right,
You own them, you'll
Right.
have the right of way
Right.
regardless.
Is there gonna be a right of way through that 50-foot buffer?
you don't have to have a right of way through it, 50 foot.
I don't know how we
You can-
address that.
If it's my property, you don't have to have a right of way through your
The
property,
only thing the buffer for is to prevent you from
To
digging
dig
up to that.
up to it,
You
yeah.
can ride across it, you can put a driveway in,
Yeah.
do whatever you want
No,
to.
you gotta maintain a 50-foot
Yeah,
buffer.
you gotta
of
Yeah.
maintain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Of
So
forward.
you can't,
But the driveway you're talking about is gonna go on the opposite end away from Mr. Harrington.
That's
down
correct.
Toward the Newton property.
that's correct.
Whether you acquire the other 2 or 3 pieces or whatever it is, you're gonna be on the opposite end of the property.
That's correct. That's correct.
but he's referring to using the 501 one, he has to go through the existing pit to get to that 501 exit.
But you don't have that property.
No.
Yet, so.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
there's, don't have to be a 50-foot buffer right there.
on that section.
That's
So
right.
legally,
Yeah, if we acquire the other two pieces of property, that, you know, that won't have to be a buffer cut off and everything.
Well, first of all. this
It's still
property's
property
not
lines,
being
though, it's not
rezoned
combined.
right now.
Well, we'll
but
combine
if he
it.
purchases,
Not with the
If he
existing,
doesn't combine them, yeah.
you're not gonna combine with the
Yeah.
existing pit though, right?
yeah, that's the
No, we
question I
combine
have.
with the existing.
But that's not
That's
part
where
of
the
the
buffer has
on
to be.
this, 'cause
Yeah,
he doesn't own that yet. You're not
Yeah.
permitting those other two pieces.
No, we're not
Yeah,
permitting them
I'm-
two pieces right now. We're just,
I'm just trying to look for future.
Yeah.
Because if we have a question
Here's
now,
something I want to bring up. The buffer's a good thing, but in this case where he owns multiple properties, and if he's adjoining it, should he have to have a buffer with the state? Mining regulations clarify this. If not, we may want to consider that, as we're redoing this. Because if he owns land adjoining it, do we need to make him have a 50-foot against his own property?
Well, he
Now,
doesn't own the adjoining land right now,
Correct.
and he's requesting a permit on the 11 acres, so.
But at the time he purchases it.
Well, if he does, then he may want to come
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
get that permitted too, but right now, the only thing you have before you is the 11 acre parcel,
yeah,
which would have to be buffered with vegetation on 50 foot. It has to be 50 foot in width, and according to this, it has to be, a natural vegetative stable or berm. Now, you've obviously gotta have a driveway through there to get out on the Harris Road, but
I mean, it's just something else to think about when considering our ordinance, because in the future, we're gonna process again, and they're adding on their pit, but it may not be, feasible for them to combine the properties. They're still going to have a 50-foot buffer in between, the two pits when they own both adjoining properties.
and if he acquires them and brings them back in, then it would be an issue to be
Yeah,
considered.
Mr. Johnson's right, we need to just take into account what we're doing tonight. But we have had some discussion for y'all to think about. So,
Jim,
Other discussion.
the only other issue we were talking about is hours of operation. You say Monday through Friday,
yeah,
7 to 5.
yeah.
is that? a
Yeah, we don't like working weekends.
You can impose any conditions that are reasonable that the board, or you can recommend to the commissioners, that the board of commissioners impose reasonable regulations, including hours of operation, if you desire to do that.
I didn't know if we wanted to do that or hate to restrict you if you don't have to. For a rare occasion, you might have to do it.
Right.
Yeah, my personal opinion on this at the present time is not to place any additional restrictions. But if there are future complaints, that those complaints will be considered and at the time.
I'm not sure whether you can reconsider something you've already permitted, but
Yeah, that's the catch.
if you give them a permit,
You can't go back on.
you can go back and he has a vested interest in it. In this case, Mr. Steph, whoever party is. So, I don't know that you could constrict or restrict his rights, you might be able to relieve him some. I understand what you're saying, I think there might be a change of circumstances, but I think you ought to consider that now.
Okay, so we have a special use permit. Do we need to consider limitations on hours? I need suggestions from the board.
Along with the hours, would you do days of operation also?
We could. I need suggestions.
I think it'd be safer for everybody concerned if we would, if they're not opposed to it. We can negotiate if they're opposed.
We're not opposed to it.
Then we should restrict.
I'll make a suggestion in 7 to 7 Monday through Saturday.
Works for me.
Can I make a motion? Follow the Robert's rules.
But yeah, you can make the motion, are you making a motion to approve it subject to the one restriction, or are you just making a motion to impose that restriction, or to request the commissioners?
I was gonna add that when we get ready to vote. I just wanna make sure I can make a motion. It's not good enough.
I'll second that.
Well, I wanna we need to add it, we need to get it in with the rest of the amendment.
Captain, devil's advocate for a second. What if you did 7 Monday through Saturday, but if there was ever a special term that they needed to haul because of a certain project, time limitations, could they exceed that by 10% of the normal time?
Not without variance.
Okay, so you could put a little in there, a special event.
Well, y'all can put in, I mean, you can recommend that you put anything you want to in it to the commission.
It's just something I thought about, in case it's something.
Now, who would give that permission though? Would they have to go through regular, if
Well-
they want a one-time deviation for special circumstances, who would be the authority to do that?
Would be-
That's getting really
It would be the
technical.
commissioner, and I would not suggest you do that.
Who would catch it?
Yeah, that's getting a little too complicated.
The other thing you might want to consider is that one of the conditions is placement of the access only now it's just the property. Since Mr. Terry has concerns about it being on his end, they don't apparently care which end it's on.
Now, the blueprint we have, with that's been submitted for the driveway. That would have to go back and have the driveway changed on the property, wouldn't it? Since you've got it blueprinted.
We can work with the, local county maintenance, department here at DOT in Wakeman and just ask them to, we would have to redo the drawings, let it shut the effect for a bit. Just want to
I don't think that'd be a
relocate it,
problem.
everything else will be fine.
All right. We have rezoning application 505-22, request for rezoning permit, rezone from residential agriculture to heavy industry, construct a land mining operation. Property is located 25-160 Harris Road, Marston, NC. We have suggestion of having limitations of 7 to 7 Monday through Friday, and also movement of the driveway from the north end to the south end of the property. With those stipulations for special use permit, I would like to move that we accept that application.
I think procedurally, Mr. Chairman, you need to vote on the rezoning application, clean rezoning application. The conditions go on the special use application if it's approved.
You're absolutely right, thank you.
Consent.
I'm not reading far enough. All right, well, let's go back to rezoning application 505-22. Do we have a motion?
motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Rezoning for application for that property is passed. So now we're doing the special use application. Special use permit to construct land mining operation, property located 25-460 Harris Road, Marston, North Carolina. With that special use application, now make the addition of the special use with the stipulation of 7 to 7 Monday through Friday.
Second.
And also changing of the submitted blueprint, the driveway from the north edge to the south, from the north corner to the south corner along Harris Road.
You said Monday through Friday,
Okay.
Monday through Saturday.
I think that Mr. Smith's point was that initially you said Monday through Saturday, and I think you're
Yeah,
right.
Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. 7 to 7 Monday through Saturday, and the driveway moved from the northeast corner to the southeast corner on Harris Road.
So as long as we have that noted, we don't need an updated drawing to approve tonight, do we?
Well,
They'll have to submit a new
They won't
blueprint.
get
right,
to,
that would be
get the permit until the blueprint has been updated.
assuming the
Just want
commissioners
to make
adopt,
sure.
assuming the commissioners adopt that too, which I suspect they will, I fully expect they would. Then it will not be, they wouldn't get their permit until they had it located that way.
This shouldn't take you long to get that.
No.
Or I make that motion for the stipulations on the special use permit. Do I have a second?
Sir.
Whoever. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nope, I did not, I just want to make that clear, so.
Okay. All right, I believe that business is taken care of. Mr. Harrington, I hope that, everything will turn out right for you. I think you'll be okay. I really do.
Mr. Harrington, if you ever have a problem, come see me.
All right.
Okay?
Believe me, I will.
Come see me.
Take a ride on some of
You
this.
ain't gotta worry about it.
Come see me, we'll straighten it out.
I don't,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to, because I'm not.
I know. But I'm just offering that, if you ever have a problem, come see me, and I promise you, we'll take care of it.
All right, I was a little bit out of order. Well, the new business. Yes, I am. Where is it? Thank you. Okay.
You guys done with us?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, we appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Herman.
All right, back to the cemetery. Brooke, where are we on that? And John, where did you get?
He didn't have a chance, I don't think.
You did not get your survey.
I was asked Thursday at lunch,
Have a survey by now.
time limits, and I couldn't actually reach them until,
Saturday. Oh, if you hadn't been standing out there, I was supposed to be watching for you.
No, I just walked up.
Donna made that more than I do, I believe.
Mr. McMillan asked where we were with the, cemetery.
He went by Mr. John's office today, so Mr. John will be doing that surveying for him.
Yeah, apparently the urgency that I thought we were having is not quite as urgent. He told me they'd already had the funeral.
Yeah.
And he was gonna check with the undertaker, see about storage. But I told him, I said, look, if I'd known sooner, we could have met the schedule, but I didn't get to talk to him till today. I was just trying to get an idea of when it needs to be done and completed for him, meeting wise. But I told him, I thought I made it clear to him that it's gonna be a little time before he can get it approved.
I spoke with, Jason, with the board of commissioners. Depending on the time that, John needs to get the map ready for us. Jason said he could work with us about pulling a special meeting with the commissioners within the time allowance for to do the postings and stuff whenever, if Mr. John will just let me know about when he might could have that ready for him.
Well, when's the next available? Because the gentleman seems like a nice fellow and a lot to help him.
He was actually going to go to the funeral home when he left me today to see how much they were charging him for storage, because he didn't even have a clue if they were charging him.
I'm gonna try to speed it up for him. I'm just trying to get an idea of when I need to get it by to help him out.
We love that about one.
Yeah.
Got there tonight with the spotlight.
There you go.
I told him I would speak with you
Next meeting, county commissioner.
third, so today was the deadline for that meeting. But, that he said that he could get
What's the
a
next one?
October, no, November. But he said he could do a special meeting if we needed to pull a special meeting to,
Okay.
for
What we gotta do? We gotta vote on it first and then it goes county commissioners.
Yeah.
So are we gonna do a scheduled meeting or are we gonna do a expedited one?
our next scheduled meeting will be till, I think, the 19th. Is it 19th of next month?
Are y'all
19th of next month.
gonna vote on it before you get the map, or you,
It'll have to be tabled.
right, that's what I was. So you gotta probably have a special meeting of this board too.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Every time we have one of these residential burials, we're gonna have to call special meetings and have probably 2 meetings per month just for that.
I hope that the funeral homes will get wind and maybe we can,
Well, I visited all of the 5 funeral homes and, let them know if people come in to pre-plan. I gave them a packet that Donnie generated to kind of give them a heads up. It's gonna take us at least 30 days to approve something like that. So they'll know ahead of time that it's gonna take that long.
if it's normal meeting night, it'd be more than 30 days, won't it? Time it goes through us to the county commissioners.
If we call special meetings.
Right.
Are there other counties that, you may not know this, I don't know that you've ever had any reason to check it, but are there other counties that have a process that doesn't involve going through planning and zoning and the commissioners? I mean, is there a way to do it administratively somehow and have a checklist that you tick off that are basically the same requirements that now come before the planning board and commission? Do you know if any other
That's not
counties do?
something I've looked at, I can, but I have not ever talked to them about that.
Because it just seems like if we're gonna have that many of them. maybe
Some of the
it's better-
funeral homes are saying that people are doing more of that because of
Right.
cost. So it could be something we're looking at often.
Maybe a better way to do it and help people get it done quicker and
That's what me and Bruce conversation.
I dealt with a county on another project a while back, and the lady on the phone was informing me that I ought to take a look at their cemetery ordinance, because apparently they were real proud of it and had put a lot of work into it. That would be a good one, I think we could take a quick look at, because,
You
there's
said that
had,
was a legislative rule that we couldn't change?
I think it may be, but
you talking about the 160D on the cemetery?
Yeah, I don't have my book with me, but
I'm like, I think we can get these to certain terms that we meet, that maybe we can get subdivision administrator approved.
or maybe if it's a special, if you leave it as a special use application, it's gonna have to keep going the same process. But if you change it to something else, maybe the initial review is done administratively and they make a recommendation to the commissioners. If you can move it away from being a special use permit. And you may want to leave it like it is. I'm just,
I think it makes it harder on the families leaving it the way it is. And, squeezing them in a survey is
Yeah,
easier.
because, there's a lot of.
That part was.
I agree with you.
And if they trying to cut costs, they finna have to pay storage. And that's gonna be,
Well, whenever I visited, I asked some questions, and there were a few of them that said it's up to $40 a day. $35 to $45 a day.
and that adds up quickly.
Yeah.
Adds up quickly.
does Hope County use a special use permit or is that something?
This was months ago when it was brought to my attention, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't read it, but they always laid conveyed it to me like they had really put some time and effort.
Leave it here.
I'm just saying that might be more we could look at to see how we might want to, possibly change our method.
I wish I brought the laptop, because I got their zoning ordinances on the laptop.
I think it's something we can be looking at for here next week, so.
Brooke, how many cemetery,
Since
Oh,
the
so
ordinance
what-
changed, Donnie had the pleasure of getting 2 of these residential burials, but before then, in the 3 years I've been doing zoning, I've only had 3. But that was just 20 feet from our property line, put them in the backyard, go for it. It was not a special use, it was not, they had to visit the health department, of course, but there was no meeting, it was something I could do administratively, so.
so it did not have these 11
Yeah,
items.
Did you ever run into problems where people that were neighbors complained or that you know?
well, we didn't have to post it.
Right, but I mean, you never had a neighbor come in after the fact and say, how come these people bury somebody in the backyard?
No, usually when people do it, they have like 30 or 40 acres and they want to put granite in the backyard, or they lived on a farm, and it was never near anybody. It was always in the backwoods. And it has to be in a residential agriculture area. It couldn't be, in a rural, yeah.
And with living in Robinson County, before their ordinance changed, I'm not sure how it is now, but you had to get signatures by all adjoining property owners to carry to zoning to get permission to have a family cemetery. And they did the name and fence and stuff around them. But they would have, what do we call it, a petition or something, that they had to get signed saying all adjoining property owners agreed.
See, before you didn't have to have a monument, a fence, none of that.
I think the biggest holdup, even if Brooke was able just to do it, would still be the survey. You're how far out
I
normally?
work things in, but normally I tell anybody 2 months. But I work things in, I've about got 2 to survive in a small town. Without making 50% people mad at me.
So if it's not legislative, do we have the wherewithal to make amendments?
Oh, I got a list I'm ready to work on too, because this was just based on what the lady developed for us, that was her suggestions that we adopted. Some of it we can change, some of it we can't, because 160D is law, we can't do nothing with that state. But if it's beyond that, we have opportunity to amend it.
Yeah, you would make after you had a chance to debate it and talk about it and come up with a recommendation, you would make that in a recommendation form to the commissioners for their determination of whether they would amend the ordinance. In general, not as to a specific piece. In general.
It's almost like they just started popping up. Is this what, I think, matter of fact, the other one, I'm like, man, I ain't going so long. It's in your rules, what I need to do.
For the cemetery,
Yeah, it's been so long.
I think the cost, I mean, just from talking to the funeral home owners, people, I mean, it's just, so can't do it.
Well, we're really no better off tonight than we were last week,
No,
unfortunately. So,
I do think, well, if there's any way to look into it, if it's not 160D, fix it so the ladies can do it administratively.
Yeah, I like that certain criteria to meet, check off the list, good, good.
well, we have a planned meeting on that at some time in the near future. We'll make that a project for the whole board, and we'll work those out, make it smooth to the county commission. But right now, I
So what
don't
we're gonna do in
see,
the meantime, for these people trying to bury their family member on their property?
well, according to the ordinances, we have to have a plat submitted before we can do anything.
I guess about the only thing we can do is get a special meeting to help speed up the process, to
Right.
get the nearest, county commissioner meeting after.
Which was hopefully what tonight would be, but
Because once we make our vote for the county commissioners or decision for our suggestion, then they have to wait 10 days to post it prior to the next county commissioner meeting, and then the county commissioners actually give the yea or nay, and then once that's done, we can proceed. That's-
Well,
Lonnie,
it's a-
you
it's
said
a
it was
special-
pushed once a week now.
Yes, sir.
Is it once a week for 2 weeks?
Yes, sir. The first one has to be done
Saturdays,
Wednesday or Saturday.
No further than
It has to be
25.
Wednesday, it can be one each week, Wednesday one week, Wednesday next week, Saturday, then Wednesday, as long as it's within the one, Sunday through Saturday, they can only be one posted. So it has to be 2 weeks to get both postings in.
any idea when you can get to it?
Oh, I'm gonna jump on pretty quick. They was nice as they could be. That helps.
They're very normal.
Oh, yeah, very. He was supposed to be here tonight, ain't he?
But when I spoke with him today, he asked me, did it need to be if the map stuff were real.
So does he have where he's purchased the fence or monument or anything like
He has
that?
to have that for the commissioner.
Does he have it?
He's said he would before the commissioners meeting. He
So he's not
understands.
any further either.
The other gentleman didn't either. He was, he didn't have that information till commissioners meeting.
For a point of procedure here, John, knowing that you're gonna do the survey, can we recess the meeting until John says he's got the survey, and you ladies can call us and we can schedule a meeting?
I think if you recess, it has to be
It
a
has to be
time
announced.
certain.
That's what I was wondering.
You have to specify in the motion when, where.
Okay. Robert
That,
rules.
that would put a pressure on John if we,
Yeah, just realizing that and trying to play through my head here.
Now, I mean, if you want to do it the other way, you could have a special meeting, called meeting, rather than recessing this one. That gives you a little more flexibility, but then they have to notify everybody.
We're the third Wednesday. Is that right? Third Wednesday?
19, yes. For
And
regular
that's
meeting.
when you're advertised for.
Yeah, third Wednesday.
Oh, October you're talking about?
So that would be basically a month if we waited a regular meeting next month. What,
$1,200 instead
that's
of
gonna last $1,200. Get a motel for that.
Oh, gosh.
so, I like Ed's idea.
So we
Yeah,
got
we could,
Saturday.
That's the big thing.
I don't know.
Those are the options. I mean,
Yeah.
That's up to y'all.
I mean,
If John
I
thinks
I think we should probably just adjourn the meeting, and John, if you'll just keep up with those two ladies and let them get in touch with us. And all we need is a quorum, and I think we can get a quorum just about any time.
And then they have to notice it, legally have to notice it with whoever the media is that wants notification.
Okay? Now, does that have to be 10 days in advance
For the
Not-
commissioners
of the
meeting.
meeting?
Not for respect of this meeting, of
For
your
a
meeting?
special, for a special meeting,
No, it
it's like
does not.
24 hours,
48.
Well,
48 hours?
yeah, emergency
48 hours.
meetings are a little less, but special meetings, yeah, not 10 days.
Special meetings are 48 hours.
Okay. Well, that's my suggestion.
yeah. I'm gonna try to make it happen next week. The only thing that scares me is issues with the property. I won't know until I get there and figure that out. So the other part won't take too long. It's just that. So, hard to say. So we don't need to set a date. We just need to get her done.
If we call a special meeting, when you get to the point that you got it on the schedule, and you're pretty sure you get it done, notify them, they'll get in touch with us.
That'll work.
Any other business tonight?
So you're tabling this request again.
Make a motion to table this request for the cemetery until, special call meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Keep me straight. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion adjourned.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? So y'all, whenever.
We'll meet again.